this is your host Prasha, and welcome to Her STEM Stories, episode number 78. Today we're talking about all things Wonder Women in STEM. And the first part is my solo series, which is the episode number 78. And the second part is the episode number 79, where I'm interviewing one of our speakers and learning more about her story and what she learned at this wonderful event. So let's get started, and let me tell you the 5 lessons that I learned over this weekend and why this event was so powerful. So let's get started. So Wonder Women in STEM 2019. So what is Wonder Women in STEM? And in my previous episodes, I've mentioned about it. It's a conference. It's an online conference. And it is a place where we make conferences more accessible, available, affordable, and reasonable. So this was a 2-day event that happened this past weekend on November 2nd and 3rd. And this was such an amazing gathering of like-minded people, mostly women from around the world, who tuned in. So we had more than 10 countries come and join us live during the event. And we had almost 75 plus signups. Plus, at the same time, the attendance was upwards of 50. And it was just such a wonderful environment to be in, because we talked all things STEM related. We also talked a lot about life in general, because we can't have a career if we don't have a life. And the whole concept of the conference was to show women from around the world that they can have a career in STEM in their own unique way, and they should embrace their uniqueness. Their uniqueness will be filled with their own stories, their own lessons, their own failures, and everything in between. So it was just such a wonderful thing. We had 18 plus speakers, we had 6 workshops, and 2 full days of extremely amazing knowledge. And so it was just so warm. I felt like I was sitting in the same room with these people. I felt like we were all connected by this invisible force. It was just so nice to be in the presence of this amazing community. So what are the 5 lessons that I've learned from this experience in this past weekend? I feel like the first lesson that I've learned is that creating events, and this is more personal, but creating events really lights me up, which shows when I'm doing events. And I just want to do more of them. So this is a personal lesson, but I'll take it. But what is there for you in this lesson is the fact that pay attention to the things that you really enjoy. Pay attention to the things that make you forget to look at the clock. Pay attention to the things that really light you up. And people are telling you, oh my God, you are so amazing. Oh my God, because you are coming to life in those moments. And if you are coming to your full self in those moments, I think there's so much value that we should take from it, and also remember how it made us feel. So what I did first was I took a journal and wrote down everything I was feeling and how wonderful I was feeling. So I feel like if you had to take one thing from it, is to learn to read what makes you happy and do more of it. And it's not going to be like right away, but if you keep paying attention to those little things, one day you will figure out what it is that really lights you up, and if it's feasible to actually have a career around it. So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And so I think I came to life over the weekend, and which I think our community would agree with me as well. Number 2, women from around the world share same problems. Yes, we all have the same problems in terms of imposter syndrome, the fear of failing, the fear of fear itself, the lack of community, the lack of camaraderie, the lack of support, the lack of mentorship, the lack of networking, opportunities, or education around it. It's just we are all in the same boat, no matter what country, where you're from. These few things were a common thread amongst all the participants. We did a pre-survey, and we found out a lot of us thought that we needed either to build our own community or find a community. And I just want to say to the listeners here, if you're in the same boat, feeling lonely in your STEM career or in life in general, you should follow us at Her STEM Story on Instagram and join our community. And our guest today after this episode is actually going to talk about how you can join an actual community as well in terms of chat. But you could follow us, DM us, anything like that. So that was definitely a great lesson, that we're all connected by similar experiences and similar problems. The intensity of those problems can be different depending on your geographical location or your intersectionality, but the common thread is still there, that we're a minority and we feel less supported and we don't have a community. So I just want to tell you guys that if you're in the same boat, please come join us on Instagram, Twitter, and be a part of our community, because it was just wonderful to see that we all have these issues, but at the conference, we got a solution for all of them. So that was definitely a wonderful thing. Number 3 was the fact that accessibility of personal development is very, very important. So I feel like minorities are left behind, because when there are big conferences, when there are big events, and there are people who can't afford it for whatever reason, either they can't afford the vacation time, they can't afford the financial burden, they can't afford the travel, lodging, or they don't even know when it is, or they're not a part of these big organizations, they are left out from personal development altogether. And when that happens, we completely push our minorities even further behind. So people who are actually attending these events are getting ahead of the people who are not attending these events. And so it's very, very important to make our events more accessible, more affordable. We also, in the process, saved a lot of carbon footprint, which was awesome, because people didn't have to travel from around the world, and people spend a lot of time with their families as well. So personal development is really important, and let's make it more affordable. So I definitely learned that when we did that, we actually brought everyone to the same table and said, no matter where you live, no matter where you are, if you have internet, you can be on this conference. So we were very, very excited for that. I think that's a huge thing that we were complimented for as well. Number 4, huge things happen when you make up your mind. And I think I learned that because this conference came to me last year and we did it on a smaller scale. And this year I had a bigger vision for it. It was so last minute. I actually started planning it 40 days before, where if it was someone else, they would have said, forget about it, we'll do it next year. But it was so important to me to keep the tradition going that I not only decided to do it, but I put out a big vision for it. And the vision was so big that we got some fantastic sponsors. So the sponsors that sponsored us were just amazing. You can learn more about them on our website at wonderwomenstem.com, or you can even check them out at on our Instagram page. But they were just amazing. And yeah, it was kind of unbelievable that all came together just in 40 days because I really, truly believed in that vision. So I think that was super, super amazing to know that once you put a vision out there, it's so totally possible to achieve it. You just need to get clear of what you want, and you can get it. And number 5 was that there are so many amazing humans out there who will show up for your support, who will show up to be with you, who will share all the knowledge that they have with you. And so all of our speakers were so kind and so wonderful in sharing their knowledge with us. And some of my favorites, I mean, all of them were my favorites, of course. But, some of my favorite things that I learned was from Jennifer Ladipo's talk about fear, failure, and everything in between. And she talked everything about fear and failure, and she was in your face. She was unapologetic, and she was dropping truth bombs left and right, which I think we all need that. Lorena's talk about creating your own personal brand, a personal board of directors. I don't even know how to explain you this, but she gave us some networking tips in a way that blew my mind. Like, it was amazing. And she even included how to use social media to do that. So I feel like That talk was phenomenal. All our keynote speakers, Catherine, Nehemiah, Urjita, they were fantastic, so inspirational. They've achieved so much in life, and they were so willing to share that with us. They came with such an open heart, and they gave to the community so much knowledge, which I loved. There were Farah and Vindhya, who did a fantastic workshop on science writing and everything you need to know about pitching to big science magazines and newspapers. And they were just, wow, flawless. Like, I don't even know how to say that, but they were just extremely flawless. Taz, who joined us all the way from Australia in the morning at 4 a.m., and taught us all about how to get over our own internal biases and also how to feel more confident in a room full of men. Stephanie Sculter, who taught us all about how to overcome imposter syndrome. By the way, she shared some fantastic tips as well on imposter syndrome. And again, just so much open-heartedness in every speaker. Catherine Basil, who shared everything about how to create your own opportunities, and her slides were to die for. Like, they were amazing. And you know, there were just amazing people like Alia, who shared with us how to strategize for your career exploration and how to use your strengths and values to explore new careers. Sophie Arthur, who shared with us all about her outside the STEM box, outside the box career types in STEM, which I think is so cool. The career she has built is so inspirational. So Sophie Arthur was there as well. And Krishana, who gave us really good tips to take our resume and convert it into a very, very amazing resume where we have some amazing ways of saying our projects and things that we've done. They actually worked with a lot of people to help them do that as well. Stephanie Castello, who joined us all the way from Hawaii while she was at Sakanas, and joined us and told us everything about paving your path towards a career in SciComm and how to think about it like a business, which I thought was super cool. So I think all of our speakers were so powerful, so phenomenal, so wonderful that I just don't have words to say thank you to them. But they were so open-hearted. So I feel like people came with so much open-heartedness, so much generosity, so much kindness that I was mind blown, and it was just such a warm environment. Of course, including our audience members, who were just on fire. Like, they were participating, engaging, and just like sharing all their struggles and victories and just interacting with the speakers. They attended the breakout sessions and everything, which I thought was such a beautiful thing. So these were the 5 things I learned from the conference. And if you're curious, I hope by now you're curious, what the hell is this conference about? Why didn't I attend it? #FOMO. How can I go to it? Is there going to be one next year? First of all, there's going to be one next year, but you don't have to wait all the way till then. We are actually putting the links for sale, so you can go ahead and check out the recordings, because the recordings are equally phenomenal. And they're on sale, so you can support our cause, and you can learn all this amazing knowledge that I just talked about, and much more. The reviews and testimonials that we're getting are fantastic, unbelievable. So make sure you definitely check out the link to buy the recording links. They're super affordable, super cheap. And make sure you keep listening to our show, because the show is what makes everything else possible. So please, if you like what we do, please go to iTunes and leave us a review. The review will help us show up on the iTunes charts and get discovered faster. And that would be such an amazing thing for us. So thank you so much to everyone who made this conference possible, including the wonderful speakers, the attendees, the organizers, the sponsors, and my one and only volunteer, Kritika. Thank you so much for helping out with the event. So again, I'm just very excited to see where this leads us, but I'm pretty sure it's going to lead us to wonderful things. So have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.